my channel. I'm Laura. I am so happy you are here, and today I'm going to be talking about some of my favorite fall or autumn card decks. So these are going to be Oracle and Tarot of just decks that make me think of fall. So I will also have another video of which decks I have chosen to work with in September and then October when October rolls around. But these are just all the decks that remind me of fall, and maybe if you're looking for some like seasonal decks that make you think of fall as well, you might find some inspiration. So let's dive into it. Is the Tarot of Vampires. Obviously this to me just has like a very fall energy. Vampires have a very like fall energy, October energy, November energy. So this is the Tarot of Vampires. I sort of started going into the guidebook about a month ago, and then other things have just come up, so I feel like I really want to dive into this more in the fall season. I feel like that's sort of when I'm being called to do it. So the guidebook for this one is huge. It is a, there's where I stopped off, so like directly in the middle. But it's Lisa has a whole video of like her deep diving into this, and I will link it like somewhere if I can figure that out. But I really loved everything that I read, like the whole, like, hold on, the first, where does it, it's like the first little bit, it's not too much to read. Yeah, so like this whole first section right here is just filled with so much information, and it's just like this little section right here is so worth it. But then you get into like the card descriptions, and they are just amazing. And I also realized that I had such huge resistance to this deck because of the imaging, and I was like, so it really made me look at like, why am I being triggered by these images? What is it about them? Is it the sensuality? Is it the sexuality? Is it the coloring? Is it like old belief systems? So I went through and really deep dove into this deck in a way of like looking at the cards and being like, why do these trigger me? What is this bringing out? And it brought up a lot of like these old belief systems around sensuality, sexuality, shame, blame, all of this kind of stuff. So I really dove deep into cleaning that up. And now I look at this imaging and I'm like, oh my god, it's so beautiful. It's so stunning. Like, I love it so much. I'm also using this as a romance reading deck, as well as a shadow work deck, and then just like anything else that I want. But it really does have some really good triggers for me to like clean out some like old stuff that just doesn't serve me. It just doesn't make me feel good. And now that when I look at these, I'm just like, oh my god, they're stunning. Like, but like when I first got this, I was like, ooh, I don't like that image. I don't like that. But now I'm just looking at them and I'm like, they're so stunning. But they do sort of have that reaction. That was part of the reason why I bought the deck, because I was like, I know that there's going to be some deep healing with this because it triggers me, because it makes me go, I don't like that. Or it was really funny because I was like, what would people think if I pulled this out in a reading? And then I was like, some people will like it, some people won't. Like that, it was one of those things that like it brought up some old like fears and insecurities, and then I was able to release and clear on those. So something that I definitely want to dive into more this month is the Tarot of Vampires. And I also just feel like it is such a fall deck. Like it's vampires, okay? Like vampires to me, like it just makes me think of fall. That's that one. Another deck, so a lot of decks that have like a very like heavy like nature or woods sort of like aesthetic to them always make me think of fall. So the next deck on our list is the Wildwood Tarot. I absolutely love this deck. A lot of people don't. This was a deck that I got completely on a whim. It was online and I saw it, and it was super inexpensive, and I was just like in that mood for something that I didn't have, and so I ended up ordering it and then like getting it the next day and just completely devouring the guidebook, completely devouring like the messaging, and I really enjoy it. It's, if you follow like Rider-Waite-Smith, it doesn't like it has its own system is what I'm going to say. It's changed the name of some of the major arcana. It has changed the suits, so it does take some getting used to, but if you can sort of like put aside and just like look at it brand new, like I really enjoyed it. I thought it added to my practices, to my reading. It was also something for one of those, like for those times where I'm doing a reading on myself and I cannot rely on my own intuition. Like when I'm really clouded by like other gunk and shit and just like stuff where I'm like, I can't read this, like I can't do an intuitive reading, because that's how I read. Like my style of reading is intuitive readings, especially when I'm doing client readings. But for myself, sometimes like my own ego gets in the way. So this guidebook I really, really loved because it allowed me to get out of my own head. It is in a bag because I hate the box that it came in. It's one of those ones where it's like you have to like cut the deck in half to make it close, and I'm like, I'm not doing that. So anyways, it stole my Seed and Sickle bag, but Seed and Sickle is still in its box. Anyways, so this is the back of the cards. It's just green. They are glossy, and then these are the images, and they're just absolutely, I love them. I really, really do. I've seen some people like cut this deck and like trim it, but I don't mind the borders. I really like it. It's just, they're just stunning. Just, I don't know. And it gives a very like fall, because it has like, I don't know. To me, it just like, it just screams like fall and seasons and cycles and change. And I really like it. So it's one of my fall decks, although I use it all year round, whenever I need it. But I think it will definitely be coming out this season. All right, next. Moving on. Okay, so here, you know what? We'll do all tarot first, even though we started with Oracle, and then we'll move in. The next one that I really do want to dive into is the Smoke, Ash, and Embers. This just, to me, again, it just screams fall. I love dragons. I work with dragon energy. I was like, I have to get this deck. I am absolutely obsessed with it. I have to get it. And I haven't done anything with it. I've done like a couple of little readings here and there. It's absolutely gorgeous. Like, it is absolutely stunning. It shuffles nicely. And I just haven't really given it the time that I think I need to give it to really, really work with it. And that is one of my like goals, is to work with it this fall, because I think that that's also something where it's like, it just, for whatever reason, I feel like it wants to be worked with in the fall, but that's something that I'm making like a conscious effort, is to work with it in the fall. So it's gorgeous. I don't have really anything else to say besides it's gorgeous and I'm obsessed, but I haven't used it yet. So next up is same family. It's the Oak, Ash, and Thorn, which was the first version. So there's no dragons in this one. This is much more of like the woods. And like this isn't even out of order. I haven't even shuffled this one. I ordered both of them. I ordered them together. Imaging, gorgeous, stunning, amazing, looks incredible. Like, this artwork brings me back to like a storybook from like when I was a child. Like, it makes me feel like something that I would have read when I was a kid and absolutely devoured. Like the woods, everything, the fall energy with this one is so strong. I haven't given it the time that it needs. I haven't bonded with it. I love it. I look at it and I'm like, you're the most beautiful deck I've ever seen. But I haven't bonded with it. And I feel like I'm the only person who is, like, I'm obsessed with the deck for the idea of the deck, for the aesthetic of the deck. But I haven't gotten obsessed with it for its abilities yet, if that makes sense. So that's definitely on my list to work with this fall. And it just gives massive fall energy to me. What else? Okay, is that all the tarot? Okay, that was all the tarot. All right, so now we're going to get into some more very like fall themed decks. And I feel like I can't have we're going to start off with like the two most obvious just to start, because like I feel like you can't do like a fall like deck haul and not talk about Halloween. So we have the Halloween Oracle. Why am I saying it like that? Halloween Oracle by Stacey DeMarco. I actually love this deck, and I have actually used it like at different times throughout the year, like not even for Halloween. So it has this super cute, it's a tiny little, but it's like, it's nicely packaged Oracle deck, guidebook. It's super like straight to the point, but I actually really do like the messages in here if you do want to use your guidebook. But I also find that they're very intuitive. Like, I can just pick up messages off of these like that. Anyways, mine are the new edition, so they are matte. There's also an older edition that same images and everything, it was just glossy. I prefer the matte. Super simple Halloween-y back. And then the front, they're just, again, cute imaging and very Halloween-y, like skulls, crystals, like, yeah, it's It's like, I don't know. I really love it. I do love it. It's very Halloweeny, but it gives me a good reading. I like the keywords. I like the different, like, dawn, cauldron, death, ancestors. I absolutely love the ancestor card. It's actually like one of my absolute favorite with like the DNA there. So yeah, it's, I don't know, I like it. It's a Halloween deck. I feel like if you're looking for something that's like right on the nose for like October, like Halloween time, I'm like, you can't go wrong with the Halloween Oracle. Next up, we have another one that's right on the nose. This is newer to my collection, but I bonded with it like almost instantly. And it's so funny because I had the other two in this set, but I hadn't had this one. So I just got it because I was like, I need to have you before October. And that is the Seasons of the Witch Samhain Oracle by Lauren Henderson and Juliet Diaz. And I actually, like, out of all three of these, there's the Beltane, there is the Yule deck, and then there's this one. This is the one I bonded with the easiest. Like, I literally got it yesterday. Not yesterday. I don't know. Like, I literally, like, not literally yesterday, but it was basically yesterday. And already, just, like, right away out of the box, amazing readings, like just connecting with it right away. I love that. Intuitive downloads, all that kind of stuff. So I really love it. It also has a fantastic chunky little guidebook that's amazing. It has like a ton of spreads. Like if you're ever like, I don't know what to do, like there are so many spreads in this book. So many. Like that whole chunk of, that's all spreads. Amazing spreads. So yeah, I do recommend this one. It also has like its own, some of the cards will have like spells or like little like extra things. It's not just like main meaning, reverse meaning. Like some of them actually have like, hold on, here we go. I'm trying to find one. So this one has like a spiced pumpkin cake recipe. Like, hello, yes, give me a pumpkin spice recipe. Okay, cards are absolutely gorgeous. Okay, the only thing is like, I kind of wish they were gilded in orange, not in red. I don't know why. I just feel like, orange, like, I don't know, I just would have liked them in orange, but the red's also really pretty. Back's really pretty. The images look like this, and yeah, it's just very like fall transformation, like that period of letting go, of letting everything sort of like go down, like leaves dying. I don't know, it's very like dark, but like really not a dark deck, if that makes sense. Like the color palette's very like gray, beige, brown, like there's a lot of that like coloring, but I really like it. And like I said, it read really super easily for me and gave me some really good messages. So that is the Samhain Seasons of the Witch Oracle. So yeah, those are my two, like, you have to talk about them in the fall because I feel like they're made for the fall. But I do actually use both of these like throughout the year, or I will be using them. I have only just gotten this one, but I will be using this one throughout the year as well. Okie dokie. Next up, what else do I want to talk about? You know what? Okay, these are more so decks that just give me that feeling of fall. And one of them is the Spellcasting Oracle cards. These are super cute as well. They each come with a little spell. And they, oh, excuse me. They're just, I don't know, this is what the back looks like. And they somehow just give me fall energy. Maybe because I like associate, I know that witches like work all year round and all this kind of stuff, but for whatever reason, fall time, I'm always like, let's tap into just a little bit more like spellcasting energy. Okay. So yeah, I don't know. They make me think of fall. It's just like a little added bonus. This is just a little like, these make me think of fall. Yeah, so that is the Spellcasting Oracle. Next up, again, another one that just makes me think of fall, and that is the Pure Magic Oracle. Probably just like the aesthetic of this one makes me think of fall. Yeah, I don't know. This is what the back looks like. They're like little tiny like magic cards, like sort of like what is your energy, what is your gift, what is your magic, different tools and practices that you can do to tap deeper into your magic. And then they're broken up into, so like all the red cards are like fire magic, all the blue cards are water magic, all the green cards are earth magic, and so on, right? So they're cute, they're fun. I don't use the guidebook very often. There's nothing wrong with it. I just don't reach for it because it's sort of like all right there. I don't actually use this deck too often. I bought it probably about a year or two ago because I wanted like more like fall energy decks, and I haven't really used it that much. It pops up more in client readings sometimes, and in that case then I love it, but yeah, I just figured I would include it because it reminds me of fall. Okay. Okay, so this deck I absolutely love. I knew that I would love it like the second I saw it, and I remember I was googling like chipmunk meanings, and I couldn't, because I have a bunch of animal decks that I absolutely love because I really connect with animal energy, but like I had no chipmunk card, and so I was looking for a chipmunk card, and I saw it on her website like before she was even doing the deck, and I was like, she has to make this into a deck. And then like a year or so later it was like announced, and I was like, yes, like immediately pre-order, love it, obsessed. So this is the Woodland Warriors by Jessica Rowe. Jessica Rokes? Jessica Rowe. I don't know. Anyways, this is what the back of the cards look like, and then every single card is a animal and a plant. And they just scream fall to me. Like, I don't know why, but like just, I don't know, they're just like that. They fit with that like aesthetic of like fall and like coziness, and like it makes me think of like those guidebooks that you used to have, or like I used to see in like movies or whatever. Like the person would be like living in their little cottage and like having like this guidebook of all like the local wildlife. That's what this screams to me. It's like sitting in the rain, like end of September, leaves are starting to change, like, yeah, I don't know. And then you're just like getting to know your plants and your animals. That's what this deck screams to me. It's like cozy, like cottage core. So yeah, like, and there's so many good things. And I really do like the guidebook that goes along with this as well. It looks like this. This is just a cute little guidebook, but it has, so yeah, so it'll have the meaning, a message, and then like a couple like little like prompts or questions for you to like reflect on, which is always a fun little added bonus to your reading. Don't know why I say it like that, but that is the Woodland Warriors, and that is another one that makes me think of fall. All right, where are we going? I forgot, I have one more tarot. This was my first ever tarot. It's in this giant bag, because it came in like a really shitty box, and so it's funny because I literally have like my first ever like tarot journal in here with it. Yeah, so like this was like my first tarot. Before that I only ever did Oracle, so, and then I had like a little matching bag. These are all from Society 6. So anyways, it is the Maggie Stiefvater. It's not called Illuminating the Prophecy. The guidebook is called Illuminating the Prophecy, but is it the Raven Prophecy Tarot? One second. Yeah, the Raven's Prophecy Tarot, and this is Illuminating the Prophecy. It's the guidebook. So this was my very first tarot deck because I was never drawn to tarot before this, and I read the Raven cycle, and for some reason in that it like awoken all these things, and I was like, I want to learn tarot. And then I found out that she had one, and I was like, that's my tarot deck. So this was the one that I learned on. I don't necessarily recommend it, but I do also, because some of the symbolism, like once you get the symbolism, it's like, whoa. Like so many people got like the Wild Unknown as their first tarot, and that's another one where you're like, what am I looking at? Like, because it's symbolism, not imagery, if that makes sense. But once you get it, you're like, whoa, I get it. But yeah, so this was my very first tarot, and it always reminds me of fall because of the orange and the black. And it still gives me such, like, when I don't read from it very often, but like when I do, I still get like those like really, really like slap me in the face, but in a good way type of readings. Okay, so this is the back, and then these are the front of the cards. And they just give me like, I'm probably going to be working with these all through October just for nostalgia factor, and also just like, I don't know, I feel like they want to be worked with again. I feel like they're like coming back around and like asking me to work with them. But yeah, they just give me like massive, like Halloween vibes without being like cheesy Halloween. There is also a tarot deck. I don't own it. I did not back the Kickstarter, and I'm kicking myself that I didn't back the Kickstarter, because she's no longer selling them. She might sell them eventually in the future again, but she's no longer selling them. But they are the Happy Halloween Tarot, and I will post a photo if I can post them. They're adorable. They're little ghosts. They're orange and yellow and black, and they're just like, it's a Happy Halloween Tarot. I don't have it. I wish I did. If anybody has it and they don't want it anymore, let me know, because I will take it, or I will buy it, or I will like trade for it. I don't really know if I have any decks that people want to trade for, but like, let me know. As long as it's not this one. I don't think anybody, you can still buy this one. Just because it's my first. All right, I think that is, oh, you know what? I will include one more. So I had the bag for it earlier, but the Seed and Sickle Oracle, this also reminds me of fall. I worked with this all throughout February this year, and I really, really loved it because it's such a unique deck. The artwork is gorgeous. It's just absolutely stunning. Hold on. So yeah, this is the back. I have the special edition version, so it has gilding on the side. I don't think the version that's out anymore has it, but this is the imaging. Even without the gilding, it would be absolutely gorgeous. Just absolutely stunning artwork, like just absolutely stunning. Like that's what made me, the minute I saw this artwork, I was like, I have to have this. My only complaint with this deck is it only has the name of the card. There is no keyword on this card. So if you don't know anything about plants or herbs, you're going to be like, I don't know what this means. And you're going to have to go to the guidebook. Now, the guidebooks are super cool because you have the Dusk guidebook and the Dawn guidebook. So you actually have two guidebooks. So this is for like if you're taking action, and this is if you're looking for like introspection. So you can read either, you can read from both of them. You can read like if you're like, no, I want more of like an action taking. I know I want more of introspection. So you can choose, right? But like they have fantastic guidebooks. I love the write-ups. I love everything about this deck. I just wish it had keywords, because it would just make it like that much easier to have like just like a little keyword, so that like you can still gather a lot. Like there's a book and it's being stabbed by an arrow, like you can still gather from like the images, but I just wish it had a keyword, because then I feel like it could be a little bit more intuitive. Once I worked with the deck, I was able to read it a little bit more intuitively, after I had like formed a relationship with it, but it's still not something that I pull out. Like I just use it for me. Like I don't use it for client readings because it's still something where I have to like, I'm sort of like, I don't know. But like when you're like looking for something where you're like, I don't know what this means, and I really want some like outside opinion, fantastic guidebook. I love it. And it's just so pretty. And I do actually sometimes use this as well if I'm like working with plants or herbs or anything like that, and being like, well, what plants or what herbs want to work with me this month, or this week, or like, what should I incorporate into my dinner, right? Like pull out basil, that kind of thing, right? So sometimes I will use it in that sort of way of like creating a ritual or creating like new knowledge. It'll be like, well, what can I bring into my life? And then like pulling a card, and if it's like, oh, you need like I'm going to use basil for the example, but like, oh, you need basil. So then I'll be like, okay, let's toss some basil into my dinner, or like use a basil essential oil, or like that type of thing. But yeah, that's just how I use the deck as well, as I like incorporate into my life, and like what do I need to like meditate on type of thing. So I do really like it for that. I think, okay, you know what? I brought one more deck over, and I wasn't sure if I was going to show it or not, but I'm going to show it anyways because, oh, I'm dropping things. Okay. So, fall, for whatever reason, maybe because there's so much like letting go and releasing with fall, it always makes me think of like releasing and doing your shadow work and having that like that big purge of like, what do I need to get rid of? What do I need to like cleanse from my system before the new year? So the other one that I want to mention is the Lantern Oracle. So this is Illuminate the Shadows and Empower Your Path. So this is a beautiful, you can do shadow work with any deck, but I do enjoy this one. I don't use it very often. I was like, I have to have it, I have to have it. And then I don't use it very often, but that's okay. I do, my shadow work I actually usually just do on my own without cards. But when I do want cards for shadow work, I will go to this one or some of my other decks as well. If you want a video on like decks for shadow work, let me know. But anyways, this is what this looks like. They're a matte cardstock. They're quite large, but they look like this. And they are, again, absolutely stunning. And they have some really good like messages and practices, especially in the guidebook. And just having this, like, they're meant to like, to bring up your shadows, to bring up those cycles, to bring up those like thought patterns and being like, ooh, what do I need to clear? What do I need to release? And just really, really pull that in. So again, it's sort of like a last minute little thing, but I do enjoy it. It is beautiful and it does make me think of fall. So those are all the decks that I think of when I think of fall that I currently have. What decks do you think of? What makes you think of fall? What decks are you adding to your collection? What are you using this month? Yeah, let me know if you have any of these. Let me know if you've enjoyed these. Let me know what decks you think of. Yeah. Okay, I am Laura. Thank you so much for watching. If you stayed until the entire end, thank you, thank you, thank you. I adore you, I love you, and I will see you later. Bye.